New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Cup 2021 final is upon us. It happened. It took place this morning. We are SOS Wrestling Network live at y'all, man. I was hoping that maybe we could go live. I tried to stay up live after the show. As soon as I fell asleep, it was damn near over, LK, because once this show came on, this actually literally the UFC ended and this show came on. So your boy really got no sleep, and I actually endured, or I actually was able to withstand before I went to sleep and had to watch a lot of the stuff again. I actually got to like the middle of the main event without having to fall asleep. So I was like, damn, how am I still fucking up right now? This is crazy. So I watched most of the show live. I had to, of course, go back and watch the rest of the main event. So that is what we're here to talk about today. Here with my boy LK across the pond, man. LK, how are you doing on this Sunday night? What I got? What's that? I forgot what's that. What Fastlane? It's in the background. It's on mute. Don't really care about it, but it is what it is.
Oh shit, yeah, there's a fucking pay-per-view on right now. Who gives a fuck? Oh, literally, who gives a shit? Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, looking forward to breaking the show down. It's gonna be a bit emotional. We've had, pretty much 12 days of consistently having some beautiful New Japan Pro Wrestling to watch, to the point where, you're getting 2 guaranteed cup matches a night, and now we're going to have a week off, a week apart, where we'll have to indulge ourselves into some All Japan and some Noah, etc. So if you're a fan of those promotions, subscribe, follow, do the business, because we'll still be covering the glory of Japanese pro wrestling, just not in New Japan form. And I'm ready for this one to be a fun one. So if you're in for some controversial comments, this one's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely, man. So of course, guys, we're in, I guess, the Zebo Arena in Sendai here. Don't have an attendance number right now, but I do
Packed.
have the match.
Looked packed. Looked
It looks
packed.
aesthetically look really good, and this is a great aesthetic for the New Japan final. I'm glad they did pack it out, as much as they could here in the stadium. So first match we had Gabriel Kidd, Yuya Murata, Shuji, normal young lion trio taking on Suzuki-gun's Doki, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi right here. The commentary on the English side, because I will at least do due diligence and figure, you know what, I do watch most of these shows on the Japanese commentary throughout the tour, and I probably would still watch them with Japanese commentary. And I figure I'm like, you know what, this is the final. Let me see what if they're trying to build up any storylines on the English side. So I want the English commentary side right here. So they were putting over the fact that the Dangerous Tekkers, that means Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, were going to pretty much go after the heavyweight tag team belts again pretty soon. So we get the Dangerous Tekkers, well, that being Taichi, getting the Dangerous backdrop over Yota Tsuji in about a little under 11 minutes here. And I thought the English commentary, which they were kind of weird. It was funny because like they were a little, I don't know if they were just tired or loopy, or they were just very jokey. They're very jubilant, I'll say today, was the English commentary. So they did a good job of putting over the Dangerous Tekkers who wanted to go for those tag belts again. The Suzuki-gun team gets the victory right here. Solid opener. I thought this was actually pretty decent for the New Japan final. Was what it was right here. So a next match right here. Okay, I don't. Did you watch the whole show or did you watch a
I,
highlight?
I, I kind of like, when I woke up, I was like, right, I knew I had an hour and a half, and the show was about 3 hours in length. So I wanted to save my, because I didn't know how long the main event was, obviously. So I kind of skimmed. Like, there definitely was stuff watched, but it was very much skimmed. Like, that opener was skimmed. I saw lots of the near falls at the end. There was a few where I actually thought some of the young lions were going to get the win. So I definitely did skim. I think that's the story of the New Japan Cup. You watch the full damn thing and bust your body, whilst I am over here, the professional unprofessional, just skimming through the matches apart from the main event.
100%, man. I can agree. And we got a tag team match on the second match here. Tamaki Honma, Satoshi Kojima taking on the United Empire's Great Khan and Jeff Cobb right here. Solid. Actually, I enjoyed this match a little bit better than the opener. Kojima, he really had on his working shoes right here, and Honma, he did really well in this match as well. So, but the United Empire gets the victory right here. Jeff Cobb gets the Tour of the Islands on Tamaki Honma, a little under 9 minutes right here, and it just goes to show that I think they said that the United Empire after this match, they said they actually had not lost a six-man tag team match whenever they tag team together in the trio form. So I thought that was really interesting. They had dropped a few matches, had Jeff Cobb and Great Khan in the World Tag League, so they couldn't say that. So it was just like, all right, well, the United Empire is undefeated in trios action, so that's something for them to hang their hat on. And they actually did. The English commentary put up another, sign for maybe them challenging for the heavyweight tag team belts as well, because Jeff Cobb and Great Khan pretty much, I feel, are not a full tag team, but when there's a tag team in the United Empire, I think these guys are going to be the one to form that. You know?
Yeah, I think they should. I think especially if you're doing the show, you got Ospreay challenging, Ibushi for the world title, and then you can have, the Cobb and the fucking average Joe Khan going out there and challenging for the tag belts. Because then on the road to shows you can get 6-man tags and 8. Obviously the champions of Bullet Club, but you get some meat and potatoes out of it.
LK, I forgot to mention. I don't know if you saw this, man, but before even
Yo.
We got the return of Yo here, and shout out to Jana because we were talking about this, of course, off podcast. We're messaging each other after the show, like kind of not right after the show, later in the day. And I asked her because both her and I are fans of Roppongi 3K, and I asked her, I was like, "Did you think Show seemed kind of, or not Show? Did you think Yo seemed kind of weird when he was out there?" And she said, "I think he actually did. He did seem kind of like not usual Yo, and he made the claim that Roppongi 3K is going to challenge for the tag team titles, the junior heavyweight straps. Looks like at Sakura Genesis here, so I'm thinking that's probably going to be a match going on. But LK, I do want to say, man, look for. I'm not saying Yo's going to turn, man, but he was very different than any Yo that we've seen before because Yo's a very vibrant, colorful dude. He didn't really have any of those vibrant colors. He had dark colors, and I was just like, that's a different look for him. And he was just kind of like very different and very kind of, he gave off different energy than he normally gives off. And I think that's something we should keep our eye on here in the future.
Yeah, he definitely gave off some Healy vibes, but I thought it was like great to see him. I haven't seen Yo in fucking way a while. It's always great seeing returns like that after his injury. But yeah, I guess what I'm not a fan of is him coming back, and this could have been a great chance to kind of be like, I've been on the sidelines, I've watched Show challenge for the IWGP Junior Weight Championship, and it's really motivated me. I want my shot. I want to prove that I can, see if I can prove and have what it takes. But they didn't. They just went back down this Roppongi 3K.
That's what I'm saying. Think about this. So we're talking about the United Empire and all these people, right? And all in this stable who, at this point, has garnered a lot of momentum in New Japan. What's the one thing the United Empire doesn't have?
Titles.
Now, what titles? But what sort of wrestler to challenge for a certain title?
Junior. Yeah, that'd be such. But then I can see it from the office perspective of they break up Roppongi 3K. They kind of don't really have any established teams because you got Hiromu and Bushi were out because of Hiromu's injury. You had Roppongi 3K. There's only a certain amount of times we can watch fucking Despy and Kanemaru against ELP and fucking Ishimori. Like, there's only a certain amount of times we can watch that.
But that's when you get a team like Rizuke Taguchi and Master Wato to interject themselves and maybe capture the straps for like a short interim time in this year. Because
dude, how about dude? I reckon they should just scrap the fucking belts.
They should, but New Japan really doesn't know how to like.
Yeah, I don't trust them with belts.
Yeah, they don't book belts kind of incorrectly because they always fuse the belts that they should not fuse. It's really weird, but no, I mean maybe be on the lookout for a United Empire, junior heavyweight member. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be Yo, but he gave off some very heely vibes. He wasn't saying anything that was like heel-ish, but his energy was just very different. Like it was just like, okay, you're back. You're going to challenge for the tag team. It's like, what if y'all don't win? What's going to happen after that? Like it's just like, okay. So
and to be fair, that would make it for an interesting match at Best of Super Juniors if they then do Show versus Yo. That could be a good big time main event on the show if they do turn Yo heel. And then that also releases Show to go after more, because he had a really great match with Hiromu earlier in the year. So it'd be great to see Show go back in the singles. Mix it like him versus El Phantasmo could be fun. Same as Yo as well in the same time. So I'm game for it. I just think those junior tag titles are extremely unnecessary. Like, their division just isn't in depth enough. Like, there is a lot of wrestlers, it's just they're just not in teams, and that's fair enough. You don't have to have everyone in a team, but the division is just lacked. Same as the heavyweight, and that's the good thing. That's probably the best thing about Western wrestling, and when I say that, I mean AEW and Impact, because they're the two I watch regularly. Their tag team divisions in both are fucking stacked. Like, AEW had a tag title match, a tag match, and a 15-team battle royal. That's how, and there are still teams not on the pay per view. That's how in depth their roster is. And Impact's got loads going on, and in New Japan, the tag division, you got Finjuice, Gorillas of Destiny, Golden Techers,
Techers,
Tenzon and Kojima, who never challenge.
Cobb and Great Okan here.
Yeah, but then we go junior heavyweight, and you've got Bushi, Hiromu who are inactive, Desperado and Kanemaru.
They've never held the belts either, though. LK have Bushi and Hiromu, so I think that's something that they've been kind of pushing off that they want to have happen. So
yeah, that's got to happen. I'm really, 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 really expecting. I reckon next year Wrestle Kingdom for Hiromu and Bushi, because then Hiromu can win the junior heavyweight and then bam, move up to heavyweights, and he's done it all. There's nothing left for him to do. Lose the belts and then maybe go up for a G1 or maybe even the New Japan Cup. He can be in next year's New Japan Cup, have a decent run, maybe pin the never openweight champion, whoever that is at the time, and then bam, you got a solid him up, like exactly the same as what they did with Will Ospreay.
Yep, facts. And dude, LK, so watching the English commentary, match number 3 right here. We had a trios match, 6-man tag. Sho, Yoshihashi, and Toriano taking on the Bullet Club trio of Yujiro Takahashi, Bullet Club top gunner, my man Kenta, and a dude who I still like. People were kind of hit or miss about him, Evil. And before the match even started, Chris Charlton hit Evil with some of the fucking best ether I've ever heard in my life. And if you're not familiar with the term ether, it's when you just pretty much just give somebody a hard truth that it's just like, damn, that's right, and they just burn the shit out of you. So Chris Charlton's pretty much saying, remember, because Gino Gambino pretty much is like, this is pretty much like a year from when Evil joined Bullet Club, and Chris or Kevin Kelly's like, it's not quite a year, and then Chris Charlton's like, so it's pretty ironic that Evil or Naito said that Evil was like the 4th heavyweight in L.I.J. and Los Ingobernables. Then you fast forward a year, he's like, yeah, he beat Naito, but he lost to Sonata. He lost to Naito. He lost to Shingo. He said he is the 4th L.I.J. heavyweight, and he's not even in L.I.J. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, that was wow. That was
yeah, that is great. That is great. I think Chris Charlton on the commentary team, I did hear that they did a pretty much a double all nighter, the poor bastards doing the shows. But they do a great job every time. You got to put them over. They really do a great job. And Chris Charlton, I know when he started, I don't know, I can't remember exactly your thoughts on it because it was so long ago. But when he started, I was like, I don't really know. But over time, he's really grown on me, and I think he's actually really fucking great at his job. And yeah, he deserves a tilt of the cap, because I always enjoy when he's on commentary, and he brings up other promotions and gives you just a great backstory and detail, and he's become a great storyteller and it's the timing as well when he says things. He's really become a real ace commentator, so fair play to the man.
Absolutely. Shout out to Chris Charlton. He does good stuff here, and I do like he is the bridge between the Japanese commentary and the Japanese language barrier and the English language. So whenever there's Japanese promos, he's there to shed light on what these people are saying. So Chris Charlton is a very necessary component to the New Japan commentary. So shout out to him, man. And yeah, so this match right here, this trios match, literally it's set up. I think we're going to get a never 6-man title challenge. I don't know if it's going to be these 3 between Evil, Kenta, and Yujiro, but Yujiro pins our man here on the channel, Yoshihashi, right here with the pimp juice, and so
devastating.
Yeah, super devastating. So they're going to have to put those 6-man titles on the line, and I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be a trio of these guys because Evil's not really doing nothing right now. Kenta's kind of not really doing nothing at the moment. So I'm assuming it's going to be these 3 guys against Yoshihashi, Goto, and Tomohiro Ishii for those never 6-man belts. So that's literally all what that match was setting up. It wasn't bad, but it was just pretty much filler to set up that never openweight 6-man title match we're going to get here pretty soon. So
yeah, and then they did a good job of building that. So give them that, and they'll probably be on the Road 2 show, which we'll be covering. And that's the thing with Sakura Genesis, by the way. Just because you see all the New Japan Cup coverage, you think, they just do tournaments. We don't. We do review every show that New Japan airs on NJPW World. But fucking yeah, Yoshihashi lost, and it broke my heart.
Would have thought we'd be saying that.
Yeah, man, it's at the point where Yoshihashi's had such a great year, and he had a decent New Japan Cup run while it lasted. He didn't win, so I don't have to buy any of his merch yet. And that's the new deal. The minute he wins championship gold that doesn't include the never openweight 6-man tag belts, an actual piece of gold, a championship belt that has some value, I'll buy a piece of Yoshihashi merchandise and display it in my desk area. But until that happens, I'll be merch free of Yoshihashi. I think the guy's great. It's a bit incentive for the New Japan office to book him. That merch. It's free money. Free money, boys. You're missing out. Stick to. I'm not asking him to be world champion. I'm just asking to give him a fucking chance. I think he's great. Actually, to be fair though, imagine I think the equivalent. Do you remember when Naito lost to Okada and you were like a proper state?
Yep.
That's what I reckon I'd be if Yoshihashi challenged Tanahashi and lost. I'd just be a fucking wreck. I'm calling sick for work. Why are you calling sick? Yoshihashi didn't win the Neverwell Openweight's fucking title belt.
They'd be like, who?
Yeah, I'll be like, what did you just say? Who? That's fucking Yoshihashi. He's the MVP on the SOS Wrestling Network from 2021's New Japan Pro Wrestling.
New Japan Ace,
Yeah, soon to be New Japan Ace. People just don't know it yet.
They don't, man. Shit. So next we got LK, another 6-man tag. Toa Henare, the Impact Heavyweight Tag. Well, they don't have a junior heavyweight division, so I can say Impact Tag Team Champions. David Finlay and Juice Robinson taking on Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito. And Sanada gets the O'Connor bridge over Toa Henare, and literally what this is it's kind of the downward spiral of Toa Henare.
Oh, right, dude, yeah. Even I felt bad for him watching that. After the match, just watch him headbutt the buckle. Oh man, what have you done? What have you done? Who have you done dirty in that office, son? You must have done someone dirty. Said the wrong thing. Actually, no, this isn't WWE. They don't live with that political bullshit.
Yeah, it's just dude, and even though. What are we in March right now? Even though we kind of are a ways from G1 Climax, man, you got to figure for a guy like Toa Henare, he's on the outside looking in for G1 Climax, and he wants to get in there. So, yeah, bro, you better put some wins together right now, or it's going to be dire, and you won't be in G1, and that would be very disappointing.
Unless the idea, now this could be an idea that they possibly could be going for, is that they're having him lose so much so that the crowd becomes sympathetic towards him. And that could either go one of two ways. It will either be the crowd becomes sympathetic and it works, and the crowd, get behind him every time he comes out and he gets so close and so close. Or it could be the other way around. People perceive him as a jobber. That's the trouble. I remember there was someone in this Fastlane tonight, so I guess a W comment it can be allowed. I think it was MVP back in, I think it was 08-09. He went on this massive losing streak. As a heel. It started out as a heel, and then it slowly became a babyface, and he got really over for it as a face. So Kurt Hawkins as well did that, didn't he? He went on a however many losing streak, and then he won the tag belts with Ryder, and then got would say mega over, but I don't want to lie to your faces. And they had a big win in a Mania moment, etc. And it's an opportunity that they can do with Henare. Guy's great, guy's talented. He's just booked to lose a lot, and in the end of the day, when they have these matches, people have to lose. And that's one thing with Yoshihashi. I hope we're not going back into that old Yoshihashi's in the match, he's taking the fall. I really hope we're not back in that fucking part of the woods, because I thought we're well and truly over that now. But yeah, it made sense, and they gave Yujiro a win because he hasn't had a win in a while, so that's fair enough. But yeah, back to the actual point of the match. One thing I liked also is Naito kind of staring at Juice and Finlay with the tag belts, and I'm like, is he gonna get an impact? Is he gonna get an impact?
Oh, that was pretty cool. He's like, oh, look at y'all got belts, huh? He's like, y'all got titles from somewhere else now. That's pretty cool. Naito had a small little TNA run back in the day.
Yeah, so, No Limits, wasn't it? No Limits with Yujiro.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that they were in Lockdown 09. I remember, dude, I used to be a massive I watched TNA borderline. I'd watch WWE when the DVDs came out on Silvervision or Home Video, whatever you want to call it, and I'd get them every month because that's how I kept up with it. But I actually had TNA basically every Impact and every pay-per-view included in our package that we got, as a kid. Well, as a teenager. So I used to watch Impact and the pay-per-views every week, or every week a month. So I was that was it. I remember, and I got into it. And I went to a house show over here when they came over, and it's just, I don't know, that it was I think that was actually a special time in 08, 09, 2010 for TNA, man. I fucking love that era, and everyone. Yeah, and everyone's like, fuck Russo. I'm like, that. Yeah, you know what? he actually did some good stuff in that time period. I really
Like,
enjoyed the main event Mafia and the front line. There was some good times.
dude, I remember because they used to air. I'm not to like sidetrack too much, but I remember because like from the '07 to '09, maybe 2010, it used to air on Spike TV on Thursdays, man. And I used to love watching TNA on Thursdays, bro. Like it was like I enjoyed the hell out of it because it was like it because it was kind of like I was off the weekend, so it's kind of like that last little wrestling show you kind of would get for the weekend, even though SmackDown was still on too. But like it was just like man, it was different. So nah, man, I love that era of TNA with the Motor City Machine Guns, the Main Event
Well,
Mafia. You know what I mean? Like, who's somebody? Of
you
course,
know,
AJ Styles,
yeah, you had AJ, you had Joe, um, and
Team
then
3D,
Team
Angle.
3D. Yeah, oh man, fucking yeah, that was a great time. Great
It was,
time.
man.
Oh man, I could
Whew.
watch it. I could watch Angle and AJ wrestle. I think that's my favorite pairing of anything that TNA's ever done is Angle and AJ. Also, Beer Money, I thought was a fucking magnificent
Yeah,
team. And then when Bobby Roode did his singles run, really established him.
dude,
TNA was great in the day. I don't like how people shit on it.
I think it was like late '07, maybe like it was winter '07 or maybe early '08. It was a episode of TNA, and it was AJ. It was like a Team Japan. It was like a the TNA Cup or whatever, and it was the Team USA versus the Team Japan. It was like a AJ Styles wrestled like Tiger Mask 4 on the episode of TNA Impact, and I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I got into it at Victory Road '08 was my first pay per view, and I remember because the reason why I clicked on it was because I saw Booker T in the logo of the description of the show. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'll check this out. I haven't seen Booker T since like Night of Champions '07. And I remember thinking that exact moment, and I remember watching. I was like, "Oh my god, it's this and this." And Christian was on it, and Angle was on it, and Kevin Nash, and Scott Steiner, and saw AJ for the first time. And there was that was the moment when Kazarian did the leg drop off the top of the X. I'll never forget
Yup.
that. I was
Okay,
blown
I
away.
remember it was episode, before we go back to the New Japan show. I remember it was episode of Impact, and because talking about Booker T, and they was doing the whole main event mafia thing,
I
right?
know what you're gonna
And
say.
now, this dude, they were backstage, right? And this dude had like a like he had like a pretty much like a blunt, which it's like a marijuana, cigar. It was like 3/4 smoke, or like it was like a half, it was like a quarter smoke, and it was like put out. And he like just had it in his hand talking and shit. I'm like, bruh, he's got this like a blunt on TV. Like, what the like?
It was when he started like talking to African all of it. Like he'd
Yeah,
randomly pop in and out of African accent. I used to find really funny.
I love that version of Booker T was so good then. That was
Oh
so
man,
fucking
yeah.
good.
Booker T's criminally under. Like I don't agree with the word underrated because it is just an opinion in the end of the day, and no opinion is right or wrong. But again, in my opinion, I think Booker T is one of the most underrated um, pro wrestlers of all time. I think he's so charismatic. He can do everything. He can high fly. He can do power. He can do story. He could be a heel. He could be a face. The guy's got it all. And I think him training the future is fucking just great. You need wrestlers like Booker T to be training.
Shit. Uh, Two things about him. I remember first seeing Booker T on this is when I was a wee lad back in the day. It's probably 5 or 6. It was they used to air it on ESPN. It was GWF. He was in they used to call him and his brother. They would call them the Ebony Experience. They called that him and Stevie Ray. They called them that. They called them Ebony Experience. And I remember seeing that, and I kind of like geeked out when they showed up on WCW. I was like, I remember I seen these dudes before because that's before internet. So when you see people, when you've seen them other places, it's different back in the day. And I remember I went to me, my brother, and a friend of mine. We went to the Great American Bash Show because it was actually here in my home city, Indianapolis, Indiana, where he beat Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight title. And we were fucking, we were losing our shit after the match. Just like saying, we told y'all, just like telling people that like Booker T was going to do it and everything. It was great.
Oh man, '06 was a good time as well. Anyway, we're here to talk about New Japan. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Hey, Booker T wrestled a match in New Japan, though, so it all comes full circle. Comes fucking full.
Nah, it's fine.
But
It's what we do. I'd rather that than fucking a 3 minute fucking video clip. You know what I mean? We shoot on them so bad all the time, but they must fucking hate
hey,
us.
because man, hey man, that's no work, man. We put in the work, baby. But speaking of putting in work, we got another 6-man tag team match. Kazuchika Okada, the never openweight champion, Hiroshi Tanahashi, until April 4th, the IWGP double champ Kota Ibushi, who Okada's pretty much treating like a pariah, not interacting with him at all, taking on the Bullet Club's Chase Owens, Bad Luck Fale, and Jay White right here. So one of the first things I noticed about this match, LK, it took a long fucking time for Kota Ibushi to get into this match. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it really, really did. And I loved on the night prior when Okada like got tagged out and he just looks at Ibushi like, you piece of shit. Like, they're really creating tension between the two, which is I'm really, really, really expecting, because of the little seeds over the last 2 nights of this New Japan Cup. I am expecting a Okada and Ibushi match at Dominion. As much as I want Ospreay, who we'll talk about soon, to win the belt, I am expecting Ospreay and Ibushi at Dominion. That's my 2 cents.
Away with the Kamigoye, and I'm surprised he didn't try to take Chase Owens' Texas heavyweight title and try to fuse that with his belts as well, since he's just on that power trip right here. And Jay White is proclaiming, he says he wants to be a quadruple champion, which is interesting. That's what they're saying in the commentary table. They said he wants to get both the belts that Ibushi has. He wants Tanahashi's never openweight belt, and he wants the IWGP US heavyweight belt.
Yeah, he can fuck off.
That's what Jay White is saying right now, and I'm like, if that happens, that's weird.
Wait, he wants all the belts. Oh, sorry, Jay White. I thought you were talking about Ibushi. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Ibushi. Jay White. Yeah, I think he should. So he just wants all the fucking belts. When did he say that in a post-match comments?
Yeah, he said that like I think yesterday, and then because he had because I think when the match was over, he took Ibushi's belt and he took Tanahashi's belt, so he was just like walking away with them. Like, then he said he wanted the U.S. belt, so to get the U.S. belt, he must venture over to New Japan Strong, and if he goes over to New Japan Strong, he might go over to another show that's in America. I'm not saying too much, but
yeah, he's got to go over there, man. He's got to go over there for storyline. He's got to.
We gotta get that Kenny Omega Jay White. I think there's something to be told right there. I feel, you know what I mean. I feel like there's something there, but that's in the future, man. We're talking about that, and we'll talk about that when we get to that. But now, Jay White says he wants to be a quadruple champ, so I'm gonna go on a limb here and say, because how the result of the New Japan Cup match went, Jay White's probably going to get that first crack at Tanahashi at the Sakura Genesis show. I'm just going to throw my shot out there. He's probably going to wrestle him at Sakura Genesis, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, 100%. The way they're building those two up, and that's not a problem, because it could be that I enjoyed their New Japan Cup match. I enjoyed their match a few years back, so I'm game for it. It's a good title match, and hopefully, put some butts into some seats at Sakura Genesis.
I'm pretty sure it will, man. And now, LK, we got the main event here, man. And after a 3-week tournament, guys, featuring multiple match of the year contenders right here, we get the New Japan Cup coming down to the Dragon Shingo Takagi and Will Ospreay down here at the Zipo Arena down in Sendai, Japan right here. Both of these guys, dude, they fought over 30 minutes right here. But ultimately, we got Will Ospreay picking up the win after he blocked repeated last of the Dragon attempts. He kind of connected with the Hidden Blade and the Stormbreaker. This came after Will Ospreay connected with 2 Oscutters, including run from the turnbuckle to the outside, and he hit a 450 splash at the table right here. So this match, I think the official timestamp for this match, LK, was a hair over 30 minutes, 30 minutes and 6 seconds. Damn good match. Honestly, because these guys have wrestled 3 times, I think this might be the last one, maybe the lesser one of the 3.
Really? I think you had the stakes. I think you had the stakes, and the way it was wrestled, as in this time it was Ospreay being the aggressor. I actually fucking love this. I don't know if it's because, we've been watching, this full tour, and every single night is reviewed on the channel, and just the emotional investment of watching a 12-day tournament in 16, 17 days, so every night coming home from work or before work, watching. It's a grind, but it's a fun grind, so it's nice. But
yeah. With that even being said, that this match is still very good to great, though. I'm not saying this match was not there. It was there.
Yeah, I'd say I'm on great. I have watched the other 2 matches, and I really enjoyed their Best of Super Juniors final. And I think that you got to remember they did have the help of the crowd, as in the crowd could make noise. Imagine this match if the crowd could actually physically make noise. I think you'd be looking at incredible territory. But for what they did and the time they were given in 30 minutes, they went out there and they had a banger. I was on the edge of my seat. I really loved it. It was just my cup of tea. I thought Ospreay did a great job. I think Shingo did a fucking great job. It was just great. I don't get how, you said to me, because I went on Twitter and then I just rolled my eyes and went off it. Because it's just, I don't want to get involved in any arguments, because like I'm one of those people where I bite. So I tend to stay away, which is why I don't get involved in many conversations. But yeah, I think the match itself was fucking great, and I recommend anyone to go out of their way to check this out. I really, really generally do, because it was good shit. And I don't get the beef. Is it because of who won? Is it because of after? Like, if I saw bits of after, and like, we'll get to that when we get to that, but for a match, as the match stands itself, my prediction at the start was Ospreay, because Ospreay and Ibushi is fresh, it's different, it's new, and Ospreay after losing at Wrestle Kingdom, he needed this big win to elevate him to the main event status, which he will now be perceived as. He's now going to be challenging on a big show like Sakura Genesis, and guaranteed pretty much a spot into the G1 this year, even though he would have anyway. But I thought this was just a great wrestling match. They went out there and just, it was so refreshing seeing Ospreay, wrestle a guy who he wrestled as a junior, as a heavyweight this time, and actually wrestle heavyweight style, like lots of strikes. There was just so many spots that were just so fucking great, and it was just phenomenal. It really, really was great way to start my day off. No complaints from me. If I've given stars on most things, and I'm gonna give it a 4.5 and 4 3/4. Yeah, if I add crowd in there, you're looking at 5. But that's out of their hands.
Yeah, it was a fucking banger. I'll agree. And yeah, the post match. I think it might be, before we even get to the post match stuff. I think it might be a little, people might be a little upset with who won. And even
Why?
that's not about to get into. I think because we even picked this final. We picked the Shingo versus.
Yeah, we said this final. We said this final was gonna happen.
And even though I wanted Shingo to win, and I said if Ospreay won, I wouldn't be too upset, because if you look at the long run between these two guys, I love Shingo Takagi, I love the Dragon. But if you look at, who would a win like this elevate more? Shingo's already 38. Will Ospreay's 25, 26 right now? So if you're like, who would this elevate more? It's going to elevate Will Ospreay more, because even in that same token, if you take out the age factor, Shingo could pin fucking Kota Ibushi in a match, and he's a title contender. Like, he doesn't need really to win a New Japan Cup. Like, if Shingo would have won a New Japan Cup, it would have been a cool little, like, feather in his cap. But he really didn't need to win it. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, all right, that's cool. Like, I mean, I wanted Shingo to win, but it's just like, I'm not going to, be like too upset about it. And I've seen people online talking about how they're like pretty much not watching. They're thinking about not watching.
Hear how many times, dear, we heard, I'm not going to, like, imagine that. Imagine watching, what's an example of a television show that's a hit at the minute, because I've watched so much random old school shit, because I'm catching up with having such poor taste in television, so I'm on the catch up with everyone. It's like Game of Thrones. It's like, imagine like a character's direction went a certain way and being like, nope, I'm not watching that anymore. It's like Star Wars. Oh no, not happy with Luke Skywalker's direction, I'm not watching that anymore. No. Even though Mark Hamill just put in a banger of a performance and the story was great, but the guy who, he got killed off by Kylo Ren rather than him killing Kylo Ren, you're not going to watch the show anymore. It's like, come on. If it's, if you're pissed off because the product stinks, go for it. If you're pissed off after a fucking classic that one man won and the other man didn't, come on. You know what I mean? If it's not like he got screwed over by someone, or there's a bullshit DQ finish or a count out, or, this has been built for months and the wrong person won. It was a fucking tournament with a 24-hour build. Like, you know what I fucking mean? I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not, because Ospreay and Ibushi's fresh. It's different. Yeah, Shingo won and would have gone to face Ibushi, will do great. We already talked about, like, threat level-wise, they're both quite equal, so it wouldn't have mattered really who won. But, no, it's a great tournament. Ospreay's been built well. He needed it after his loss to Okada at the Dome. It makes sense. Like, if you think otherwise, like, your opinion, your prerogative. At the end of the day, we're just fans coming on here shooting our opinion, and I appreciate you guys watching. But if you don't agree and you think Shingo should have won, cool, good for you. And I am hoping that you'll be okay and that you don't do anything too drastic and live to fight another day. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure Shingo will get chances down the line. You know what I mean? This isn't it. This isn't Shingo's career over. And guess what? You're going to be able to see him next week. It's not like he's retiring. You'll see him next week, bright and breezy, in the Kurikan Hall. Yeah, so don't fucking panic. It's like... If Shingo won, I'd have been like, oh, wicked, we get Shingo. Like, it was a win-win for me personally. That was one of the beautifuls. Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of it, because like there were so many matches in this tournament where I was rooting for kind of one guy. So if they lost, I was a bit, and then if they won, I'd be buzzing. For example, Great O'Khan and Naito. I really wanted Naito to win. Didn't happen. But Shingo, remember, knocked off Okada in the first round. He then knocked off Goto. He then knocked off Evil. These are, apart from Goto, former IWGP heavyweight champions. Kenta as well, former GHC world champion. So it's not like he's gone out there and had a shit show of a tournament. He's beaten, fucking great wrestlers. So you should really look at it from that perspective. Like, he's had a great tournament with some great wins, which through that and getting to the finals itself has elevated him. Because now when he has a match with Okada, when he has a match with Kenta, when he has a match, etc., you're going to perceive him as, he can beat them. He beat them in the New Japan Cup. And if they continue to build and build and build, he could have a really strong fucking G1. Like, let's not just, instantly jump to, I'm going to stop watching. That shouldn't be it. It's a booking decision for a reason. Like you said, the age and the fact that Ospreay, in my opinion, needed it more after Ospreay's lost to Okada at the Dome. It's a new faction. You want to build the faction up. I think it was the correct booking decision. And trust me, we've come on here and we've shat on some of the booking decisions, Sonata, that have gone on. We're not shills. We don't come on here and say, everything New Japan do is awesome, because not everything they do isn't awesome. It's true. But here, I think was a good booking decision. I'm going to stick with that, stick with my guns. I thought it was a great match. I tilt my fucking cap. These boys are going to be hurting today. Hopefully they enjoy the time off, but good for Ospreay. And me and you, I think we've covered him since his first match back when, we've been to different channels because of fucking YouTube. But, we've seen and covered him in, all over his career, from junior to heavyweight to, first match at Dome with Ibushi and heavyweight and etc. So I just think it's great that we've seen him get to this point, and I'm happy for him. Again, this is us covering sorry to say this, a fake fight. You know what I mean? It's fucking I love it to pieces. I always will, always have. But in the end of the day, let's not cancel things and not watch things because someone won a fake fight. I get passion, but when it gets to the point when you start insulting the actual product and be like cancelling it, that's just like, we all need to chill the fuck out. Like, I get it, you wanted Shingo to win, but be like, take that emotion of, fuck you with Ospreay, and make that match versus Ibushi that much better, because Ospreay's job is to make you hate him, and he's done a wonderful job at that.
Yep. And then too, I know people, and I don't know, man, I think people, once they get their fan allegiances, man, I think they kind of lose sight of what actually makes sense. Like, don't get it twisted. You know how I am. Wilson Gorbranam stay upon to the death, and I would have loved if Shingo won this match, but it is made, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Will Ospreay, LK, I'll tell you that 100%, even though I still think he's a great wrestler. I think he's 100% great wrestler. But I think him winning was the right decision right here, because you can get more out of him winning the New Japan Cup than you can Shingo Takagi in the long run, just being real.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Age isn't the only factor. It's the new faction. It's, yep. You know what? This elevates everyone in that group, because they're now going to be seen as a top tier group. So, I'm not saying he should go on and win the fucking world title belt, but I'm just saying.
In G1. When somebody beats him in a G1 climax, they beat the fucking New Japan Cup winner.
Exactly. And Shingo's already had a great tournament. If it was excuse me, if Ospreay beat Okada, Kenta, Evil, and Goto, and then beat Shingo, I would agree with them. But the fact that Ospreay's beaten Finlay, Tenzan, you know what I mean? It's not.
Yep.
the list of people he's beaten except Shingo isn't as credible as Shingo. So Shingo technically has had a better tournament because he's knocked off multiple former world champions, and Ospreay hasn't. So I think you should see it from that perspective as well. So they did Shingo a solid with all these wins. They did Ospreay a solid by winning the cup. It's a win situation in my opinion. It really is. So everyone just chill the fuck out, appreciate the match, and move on with your lives. Look forward to Sakura Genesis.
Absolutely. And what LK's, or not LK, but what fucking Ospreay says, he said something post-match LK that I thought was really interesting before we get into the controversial part of it. He said he has a torn rotator cuff. And okay, I'm not sure, I don't know how much you know about that injury, but at some point, if he legit has a torn rotator cuff, he's going to have to get surgery. And that surgery recovery time is about 6 to 8 months. So if he has a legit, so they might be trying to get the most out of him right now and then have to sit Ospreay down and get surgery, and then have him, sit and rest because, yeah, that's a serious injury and that doesn't really heal without surgery.
Yeah, I just say let's get through the next tour and then take some time off to heal that, get that shoulder surgically fucking fixed, and then he'll miss the G1. Yeah, he'll probably miss the G1. But he can come back at, whatever fucking show they end up doing in November time, October time, specifically for the Tokyo Dome. Maybe he'll want revenge on Ibushi for beating him. Maybe he'll want revenge on Okada for beating him last year. Who knows what they're going to do. Might end up teaming with Cobb or, Average Okan. There's lots of stuff they could do. But yeah, that's...
Or would New Japan would they put their nuts on a fucking table here on April the 4th and have Will Ospreay win this belt, dude? Because that would be the fucking ballsiest move in pro wrestling in a long time.
I mean, judging by the fucking response, and you don't know how much the office sees of this online Twitter stuff, because if it's in a different language, maybe they don't read. Because I'm really curious if anyone out there is Japanese, and I know there is because I see the YouTube analytics, what the actual Japanese response is on the Japanese Twitter. I'm not saying they have a different Twitter, but in the Japanese language, are people saying being how people are over in the Western side, or are they saying this is a great story? Because it's a tough one, because on what we're referring to now is Ospreay when he hit the Oz Cutter on Bea Priestley. One side... Go on. What's your take on it, actually? And then I'll bounce off you on this Ospreay and...
The only problem that I have with this whole Bea Priestley Ospreay thing is they want Ospreay to be the biggest heel, and and this is my opinion, he's had such a hard time being a heel, and the way it kind of just played out, it was just kind of like, I was like, all right, I mean, I don't really hate you no less, but I was just like, okay, bro, you just and then too, what's crazy is the post match stuff. I could kind of see how it would kind of offset some people, because it's I'm not even gonna get to no political stuff. I kind of bring it up to you when we get our podcast, but it's kind of political. I was like, I could kind of see how some people would kind of view it like that, but I was just like, it didn't really. I was like, okay, you hit your girl with I ain't gonna call it an off cutter. I'm gonna still call it an RKO, because you didn't springboard off nothing. So you hit her with an RKO. I was like, all right, I mean, she did kind of help you win this match, but I was like, that's interesting, but okay.
I get why you'd get angry. I'd get why you'd get angry, because, all right, especially here in the UK, there was a death of a female, and they did a statistical kind of, they got they did what they called a group, a specialist group, where it was 1,000 women, all from different parts of the country, and they did this test, and the test, it stated that 97% in some way, shape, or form had been sexually mishandled or sexually assaulted, and it worked out that statistically 1 in 10 men are in the UK are sexual predators, and so in the UK, that's been a big thing. there's been lots of support for the women. There's been lots of feminist groups going out, etc. It kind of feels like America. Lots of feminist groups going out, and more power to them. There's at the end of the day, they should feel safe. Like, how many times have we come on the air where it's like, especially Brad, poor Brad, the amount of times I messaged him saying, hey, look, I'm just taking my girlfriend home, because like, I always make sure, regardless, if my girlfriend comes over, if I go to hers, I always make sure I walk her home, because at night it is a scary fucking place, and because there are so many pieces of shit out there. So the timing for the UK is disgraceful, because we're literally in the middle of it right now, and it's fucking horrible. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you've ever done any of that sexual assault shit, go fuck yourself and unsubscribe. Just got that out. But fucking, oh man, I've lost track, because that stuff enrages me. I get that, but at the end of the day, like, because I didn't know if in my mind I'm playing this wrong, so I sent my girlfriend. I never send her wrestling clips, because this is this. She doesn't really. It's not she doesn't care. She always asks, like, how's the show, and have fun, blah 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 blah, and watch this. If like a great match happens, I'll be like, watch this. If she's with me, but she wasn't with me, and I sent her the clip, and I was like, what did you think? This is apparently abuse. And she was like, what? She was just like really confused. She was like, it's at the matches. It triggered me a bit, but at the matches, fucking hell, sorry, Nan. No, she was just like, she said, and it was clearly a move, and she saw that it was clearly a woman's wrestler, so there was no need for it to be a big deal. It's she said that it could be borderline. Again, this is her comment, not mine. She's just said, isn't that sexist, question mark. And I was like, I'm not answering this question, because we're not having a conversation about sexist, because you're coming round tomorrow. And so it's like, it's a kind of a tough one. But by doing this, they've put themselves in a spot where we're having this conversation rather than us talking about Ospreay and Shingo. So should they have done this? No.
I don't know.
I get why, but from a TV perspective, right? If written on paper, maybe the way it was executed wasn't great, but on paper, if you have Ospreay, saying you're the booker, you Gator, and you're like, right, how about we have Ospreay post-match saying, he loves the business and he loves that world title more than anything and anyone, and then he takes out beer with an Oscar, and the crowd goes mad, the crowd's stunned silent, and then he gets in Ibushi's face. Like, pitching that sounds phenomenal. Like, you gotta admit, imagine if that happened on Raw. Imagine that happened on fucking Raw. Imagine.
What I think would have made it better. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off. Okay, but what I think would have made it a little better, if throughout the weeks leading up to New Japan Cup, she would have maybe done some things that almost cost them matches, or almost kind of get in the way of things.
See, I disagree with that, because then it would look like he's punishing her, and that's not what you want. That would have been a bit too far. I think it's a real shit position they put themselves in by doing this, because the timing and how everything's going on, and people do look at domestic abuse as fucking awful, and they are actually married. But at the end of the day, it's a male wrestler doing a wrestling move, and fuck sex. Sex doesn't matter, male, female. It was a male wrestler doing a safe. It was a wrestler doing a safe wrestling move on another wrestler. That's what this was.
Jana said this too. Well, Ospreay's the only person in New Japan that could have done this, because if you think about it, who could like really have done this to Bea Priestley without looking like a crucial, like, vile, despicable, whatever. You know what I mean? He's the only, like, nobody could have gotten any comeuppance on her except for Will Ospreay, if you really think about it. So he's kind of the only one that could have done this spot right here.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this and you were offended by what Ospreay done, I will not hold that against you.
That's fine.
You know what I mean? It is how you feel. And like, for me, if that was real life and Ospreay actually hit his girlfriend, I'd go over and in front of me, I'd go over and punch him. Regardless of who it is, if you punch a woman, you're a piece of shit. and you deserve what's coming to you. But the way my mind was at the time, and I've had many hours to digest it and many conversations, it was, I don't believe in, male wrestlers should be treated differently to women wrestlers. They're all fucking wrestlers. They all put on tights. They all put their lives on the line. They all do the exact same fucking thing. So it was a wrestler hitting a fake fucking move on another wrestler. It's no different to being in a kitchen and having in a restaurant and having, chef male cook you some food, chef female cook you food. It's going to be the same fucking meal when it comes to the table of the customers.
Okay, you know what else this does? Because think about it. We've been seeing this too. Think about the negative backlash Kota Ibushi's been getting, right? You know what I mean? He was like, oh, he's combining the titles. People have been kind of like salty about Kota Ibushi. Now in this match, you damn near kind of have to cheer Kota Ibushi because he pretty much was wrestling dude who just hit his girlfriend with RK.
Exactly, man. The fact that everyone's not hyped about Ibushi no more because the fact he's technically being a little bit of a heel by unifying both these belts and destroying the lineage and history of the belts. Having an actual heel that people can hate, truly hate, because of a fake move he done to his girlfriend, who's also a wrestler, I think is good. Okay, do I understand why people are mad? Yes. Do I think that should it not be as mad as they are? Yeah. Like it's hopefully over time people are like, okay, cool. It's maybe it was a heat of the moment type thing, like, oh my god, that's disgusting. Which, to be fair, is good. People reacting to women abuse is great. Men, especially, like, you do take, I take pride in the fact that, the people I follow were standing up and being like, look, abuse to women isn't right. And I tilt my hat. But at the same time, this is a big moment for Bea Priestley as well. At the same time, this is a big moment. She's in the finals of the New Japan Cup next to Ospreay. She was involved in a major storyline. This is good for her career too. She's on the talking of our lips. We're talking about her. This is good. But yeah, it's I don't know if this was like MMA, different story. But it's a work, it's a work. They talked about it beforehand. It wasn't like Ospreay flipped and hit, 5,000 reverse spiked runners. He hit a safe move. If he hit an elbow, that would have been a different ball game. That would have been a different ball game. It was an RKO. We fucking all played fight and hit girlfriends or friends that are girls with fake wrestling moves all the time, and just like you do with the boys. Just in the end of the day, we're all humans, and that's how I think the world should be perceived as men and women equal. So to me, because I have that belief of men and women being equal, if that makes me wrong, no, But yeah, this was fun. I enjoy shows like this, proper meat and potatoes of shows. So yeah, but again, sound off your comments. Yeah, sound off down below your comments on your opinion of it.
What y'all think, man? So LK, dude, I'm just looking. I'm on the schedule right now, so it looks like 1, 2, 3. We only have 4 Road 2 shows for a Sakura Genesis, short Road 2 tour right here. So we got that, and then right after Sakura Genesis, we have. They only have. Let me see, because they have a match. They have one match to be determined. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to predict the matches I think are gonna happen on Sakura Genesis right now. At least the title matches, anyway. I think we're gonna get Jay White versus Hiroshi Tanahashi on that show. I think we're gonna get Roppongi 3K versus El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru on that show. If New Japan got the nuts to do it, we could get a never openweight 6-man title match on that show.
We'll probably get that on a Road 2 show, to be fair, which will be nice.
Yeah, I know. It's like, that's crazy. We only have 4. And the dates of the Road 2 shows that we're getting are, and I'm sure these all be on New Japan World. So March 28th, March 29th, the 30th, and April 1st. So they're going to be pretty close. And I'm speaking of, Sakura Genesis is on April 4th, right?
Yep.
Let me just check something real quick. I just want to see.
That is WrestleMania is April 11th and 12th.
Okay, I'm about to say, if that was the same day, that would be pretty much a huge day for wrestling fans, but it's not. So
yeah, I'm glad they don't run, because I would like to try and enjoy WrestleMania. That's the one time, man. I completely forgot there was a pay-per-view tonight. Like, this is the first time in so long that I've actually completely forgotten. Like, it's just no promotion of it anywhere. Like, I've been on Facebook, I've been on Twitter, I've been on Instagram, and there's just no fucking promotion. The only thing I'm seeing is talk of Ospreay and Shingo, which is, great for New Japan in a way. Depends on what your opinion of it is. But yeah, this was good fun. I enjoy shows like this. This is my type of show. Just meat and potatoes, just ranting and shooting the shit, but in a respectful way. Like, we didn't offend no one. We always said it was opinion. Like I said, make sure you sound off down below your opinion. This isn't your facts or statistics, your opinion, and then have a great time. And make sure you watch the show over Fastlane. Make sure you watch this review before you watch Fastlane reviews.
Absolutely, man. And shit, we got a week off from New Japan Pro Wrestling. LK, like I told you, I'm going to watch the Fujita and Keno match, and I've heard some shit about that match. I already know the result, and I'm just like, oh boy.
Beautiful, son. Yes, I'm gonna take 2 days off. I'm gonna take Monday and Tuesday off, because of New Japan Cup. Because of the New Japan Cup. Fuck me, we've already just finished New Japan Cup. I'm taking 2 days off because it'll be the last time my girlfriend's going up for this part of her course thing, so she'll be away for about 5-6 weeks. So we're having a few days with each other before she travels. Is quite far away, but she's doing it for her career, so she's gonna have great fun, and I'm gonna go up halfway through.
Shout out to LK's girlfriend, because you know what, we put in a lot of work this month, man. So you can take 2 days.
Yeah, take 2. I mean, to be fair, I couldn't imagine it's like the last 2 days that we'll be able to see each other for 3 weeks, because she's going up for 6, but I'm going to go up halfway for a couple of nights, so we'll book a hotel and whatever. Yeah, it's really good that she's doing it. She's doing a really intelligent course as well, so it'll be good for her. It'll be fun for her. But yeah, so I think, imagine me going, oh yeah, sorry, I'm gonna go record a wrestling podcast with Dion. I don't think that'd go down too well. She would.
I'll be alright. Okay, I'll be alright. You better go see her, man.
Yeah, it'll be great. That's why I was like, oh, we got to record tonight. But yeah, there'll be. I'm also gonna upload the clip version of our. Some of our matches, and I hope you guys. I really appreciate, by the way, you guys all checking out the clip of our Ospreay and Zack match. If that's something you guys clearly want, judging by the viewership, I'm gonna do that a lot going forward. Just individual clip of matches that we've covered, upload them like I did for our Ospreay and Zack match. I did good numbers, so I'm gonna be doing that going forward as well, just in case you don't have time to check out like this show, borderline an hour. But yeah, let's wrap this bad boy up, because we're waffling at this point, man.
Right, because I mean, the only thing I'm covering from the Destiny show is Fujita and Keno. I'm not covering anything else. So when I do that, I will record it, upload to the channel, and be there accordingly. My brother LK's taking the fucking 2 days off, much warranted. Enjoy your 2 days off, my dude. You know who we are, the almighty SOS Wrestling Network. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. You know what it is, man. New Japan Cup is over. We got a week before Sakura Genesis Road 2 starts, man, and shit, y'all. We appreciate y'all checking us out. If this is your first time checking us out, if you've been a long time subscriber, y'all already know, man. Y'all family. You know what it is, man. But yeah, we up out of here, man. So relax for y'all week, 2 days, whatever it is. Enjoy y'all mini spring break right now.